Hello, and welcome to my Skullenterprises Micro Brew podcast, where we talk about current events sometimes. Sometimes we talk about, the future predictions, just stuff like that. Today, I'm going to be talking a little bit about quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement. So we go over the definition of quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement, a quantum phenomenon where particles become interconnected so that their quantum states are intertwined and cannot be described independently. So let's think about that. What is one thing let's put it this way. What is one thing that cannot be described by itself? I'm going to tell you what that answer is. The answer is nothingness. Nothingness cannot be described alone. You need things to take away from it to make it nothing, right? So that is nothingness. It cannot be explained. Singular. Think about that for a second. All right, but getting a little bit ahead of myself. Let's break it down. Let's break down quantum entanglement. So quantum, the smallest possible indivisible unit of any physical property such as energy or matter. That's the definition of quantum, okay? The definition of entanglement is a phenomenon where two or more particles become fundamentally linked so that measuring the state of one instantly determines the state of the other, regardless of the distance between them. Okay, so that's entanglement. And like I said before, quantum entanglement, a quantum phenomenon where particles become interconnected so that their quantum states are intertwined and cannot be described independently. Okay, another definition for quantum is the minimum invisible unit of any physical entity. Okay, now the question is, how does quantum entanglement affect us? Okay, well, while quantum entanglement does not directly affect people, physically or biologically, but mentally it can affect you. Let's say you fall in love with someone, okay? Let's say you guys are soulmates. Well, you could be halfway across the world and you could be thinking about them and they'll pick up the phone. La 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 la. You could be thinking about them, you can call them, they'll pick up the phone, right? Before the fact. Or they might even give you a call while you're thinking. It's like a lover scenario, kind of like twins, right? So that's that. Now, how does quantum entanglement affect our universe? Now that's the question, okay? I'm going to tell you how it affects our universe. It shapes reality by structurally, okay, building space-time, driving quantum computing, and challenging our basic understanding of the universe. Okay? So that's all pretty fine and dandy. Now, the thing about quantum entanglement is we are all connected through quantum entanglement. Now, quantum entanglement shapes our universe by knitting space-time together and defying local boundaries. It also anchors the universe's most fundamental nature. What is quantum entanglement? Quantum science explores and helps explain some of the strangest phenomena in the universe, including dark matter and dark energy. Quantum entanglement, as well as string theory, intertwine through the principle that space-time is woven together by quantum entanglement. So, what does that mean to you? It means the moon, the stars, Earth, the sun, Venus, Neptune, Pluto, Mars, all that good jazz. Saturn, hell. all of it. Maybe I said that, maybe I didn't. Doesn't really matter. You get what I'm trying to say. It intertwines everything in the universe. Pretty cool. Now the question that I asked, okay, now this is a good one. How does quantum entanglement affect the human brain? How does quantum entanglement affect the human brain? Well, I'm going to tell you how it affects our human brains. It generates consciousness. Now, if you really think about that, okay, the human brain displays quantum entanglement pretty much through consciousness, okay? So our consciousness pretty much is woven together like, if I could draw it for you, it would be a dot, kind of like, you ever play Connect the Dots? You ever played that game? Well, that's quantum entanglement, essentially, the consciousness right there. It goes from one dot to the next, 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 to the next. And those dots are thoughts, okay? Quantum entanglement connects all of our thoughts. So, essentially, if you think one thing, okay, let's say, it'll go to another thought, to another thought, to another thought, to another thought, creating a whole spiral of thoughts, and you need to organize them. And all this is because of quantum entanglement, generating consciousness in our own human brain. Very weird. Now, the human brain is a very strange, weird mechanism that people may think they know a lot about, but they essentially don't. And it's kind of funny because it even says right here, nothing that has to do with, the human brain. I'm still on quantum entanglement. So, such phenomena were the subject of a 1935 paper by Albert Einstein, Boris Podolsky, or whatever, and Nathan Rosen, and several papers by Erwin Schwarzenegger, something like that. I don't really know. Names are weird. What is that, German? Shortly thereafter, describing what came to be known as the EPR paradox. Einstein and others considered such behavior impossible as it violated the local realism view of causality and argued that the accepted formulation of quantum mechanics must therefore be incomplete. Now, what does that mean to you? Well, it can mean a number of things. The fact that they have discovered quantum entanglement, in the universe, and they know what it can do out there. But do they really know what it can do for the human brain and to the human brain? I can get into like such things like Neuralink. Hell, I can even get into antidepressants, SSRIs. Okay, that all affects the human brain through a sort of a quantum entanglement, if you will. Very strange stuff. Very strange. So entanglement can produce statistical correlations between events in widely separated places, but it cannot be used for light communication. Quantum entanglement has been demonstrated experimentally with photons, electrons, top quarks, molecules, and even small diamonds. The use of quantum entanglement in communication and computation is an active area of research and development. So, pretty next level stuff here. But a lot of it has to do with our own human brain, and without thinking of the universe, without thinking all that stuff, because that's a lot right now. What people need to really understand is how to get control of their own consciousness. through quantum entanglement. Very strange stuff. Yeah, the human brain. The human brain's a really weird place. It creates a sort of a paranoia, um, kind of like the belief that groups of people are following you, sort of a thing when you leave the house. Probably not true. It's called gang stalking, and gang stalking is a belief system in which individuals who self-identify as targeted individuals. Very weird. These are real people who believe that they are being systematically followed, harassed, and surveilled by a large group of people. Again, just paranoia. Paranoia that the human brain creates. Very strange stuff. The thing about being paranoid is it can be induced by a number of reasons. One, drugs. Okay, drugs can induce it. It's true, drugs can induce it. Two, PTSD can also induce it as well. And I'm sure other things as well. Past trauma, but that goes along with PTSD. Yeah, very, very, very strange stuff. And that's the thing. And that is the thing. The thing about gang stalking as well, and people really believing, like they really actually believe it's a real thing. I'm not saying it may be 100% not true. It might be true, but I really think it's just the human mind just kind of doing what it does. And you have to be very careful in things you think because it can lead to paranoia. And paranoia is not fun to deal with at all, people. Now, the thing about also the human brain is nobody on the planet really knows about it. Like they say we use 10%, but there's so many different parts and neurons firing and different things. Like there's a dopamine center, like sort of like a euphoric center that kind of goes off when you get hurt or if you exercise, sort of a thing that affects a certain part. There's a part that's like thoughts. There's another part that just thinks you're just overly crazy. There's a lot of part. There's imagination part. There's even a chemical in our brain that acts as a sort of a DMT. Now, let's look up DMT. DMT is a very fascinating subject. The thing about DMT is they say that people even can see like aliens. They said they see these figures. Everybody kind of goes through the same trip, and that is a certain gland in our brain. I'll cover that more in another episode, a little bit more in depth. But DMT is a naturally occurring and a powerful psychedelic drug that induces profound, rapidly acting but short-lived visual and auditory hallucinations. Because of its intensity and belief duration, often described as the businessman's trip, it causes users to lose their sense of time and even reality. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so the natural occurrences, DMT occurs in the human body and in various plants and animals. Very, very crazy shit. And that's the thing. There are so many drugs out there, so many different psychedelics. I don't even think one person even discovered all the psychedelics there is in this world. Just imagine like going through the jungles and actually finding other forms of hallucinogenics. And what is out there? Is there cures for different diseases? Is there, there could be cures for different diseases, mentally and even physically. Very, very cool shit. Yeah. I've never been to the jungle before, but you know what? You never know. I might just, I might just go one of these days. Maybe I'll discover a new hallucinogenic. Yeah, I very well could. I very well could. You know what? Maybe I'll fly there tomorrow. I'll discover all sorts of new hallucinogenics. And maybe even like another form of marijuana, even out there in the jungle. So yeah. So quantum entanglement affects the human brain simply by generating consciousness. What that means to you could be a variation of things. A variation of things, of knowledge. You know what's funny is I didn't really even know that Einstein wrote a paper about quantum entanglement, so that's definitely it's definitely something to learn right there. And he did that in 1935 even. 1935. So to understand that in 1935, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. That means he was truly a genius. You know that. I know that. And we all know that. But still, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to think about the possibilities. Like, if I had a time machine, I'd probably go back and I would probably write all the songs, all the famous songs before the celebrities did. And I would become famous. See, sometimes there's a part of me that thinks these celebrities are just time travelers, right? Because it's almost impossible to write music now without AI. It's almost impossible to do anything without AI for most people. Um, so the fact that they all wrote that just with their brains, with human consciousness, quantum entanglement, right? Yeah, yeah. It seems like they were almost more advanced before AI even came out. Because as the generations move on and we progress into the future and we use more AI, more internet, more computers, more tech, more tech, more tech, well, we're just going to get dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber as it goes on. I would encourage you people to read, write, I would encourage exercise. I would encourage a lot of things that I would just turn off your phone. Just turn off your phone, turn off your computer, just for a couple hours, read a book. Read a book. Fly a drone. Fly a helicopter. Get your pilot's license. Go back to school. Learn something. Type thing. But I say that, and school really without computers anymore is obsolete. Is obsolete. They have a lot of computers in school. It's all computers nowadays. But let's go back to a time before. Before there was no computers, before there was technology, before there was just typewriters. Stuff like that. I like that. And I would go back and I would invent songs and I would become famous without all the computers surrounding us, without all this Wi-Fi in the air, really, yeah, that all kind of sucks for the human brain. The human brain is capable of tremendous, tremendous stuff. Again, for some reason, I keep on going back to music, but music is a really powerful thing that I think AI could even potentially ruin. AI can't write good songs. Although AI can do some cool stuff, it cannot write the best music. We already have all the best music. All the best music is already written. It's done. You know. Yeah, I'd like to see something better than some of these Nirvana songs. I'd like to see something better than Heart Shaped Box or something like that. I'd like to see something better than System of a Down, personally. You know, I like to see something better than Nirvana Insecticide album. A very good shit. Not a lot of people know about it. It's I'm sure they do, but the Insecticide album, that's an underground. That's they don't really play that anywhere. It's so it's kind of fun to look up. I like to look up the deep cuts in music. You go for your favorite artist, just look up their deep cuts sometime. Just go to the deep cuts of all your favorite albums, all your favorite singers, all your favorite artists, right? And you go to the deep cuts or the demo tapes, and you unbelievably, how much that you haven't heard them say. So, the thing about all this music and the consciousness, it's definitely quantum entanglement right there, because plus the human brain music and the human brain gets quantumly entangled, as it were. It affects people in various ways. Hell, it'll make you jump up, it'll make you sing, it'll give you energy. It's kind of powerful. So it's a good movie, that's powerful. But I suggest you just read a book. Just sit down and read a freaking book, people. Like right now, I'm reading Colin Powell. Maybe I'll do a video on Colin Powell sometime. I don't know. Shoot, there's a lot of celebrities I would like to interview. Tons of celebrities, tons. I'd like to interview Christian Bale. See what the fuck he's doing now. Be very interesting. I'd like to interview like Johnny Knoxville. That'd be kind of cool. I'd like to interview Samuel Jackson and see what in the world his next plans are. I could go on and on and on, but I'm not going to get into that right now. So, what did we study here today? We studied, it's not a whole lot. We're just studying a lot of quantum entanglement, because quantum entanglement seems to be the word of the day, all right? And I really like quantum entanglement because I could go on and on and on and on. Trust me on that. And there's the thing about it. It also connects to what another thing called string theory. You ever heard of string theory? String theory is also a quantum entanglement as well. Basically means the same thing. Basically, it means the same thing. So you got quantum entanglement and you got string theory, okay? Almost similar meanings. Like when I look up the definition for string theory here, check this out. Hang on. So, string theory is a theoretical framework in physics that models the fundamental constant. It pretty much models the fundamentals of the universe as tiny vibrating one-dimensional filaments of energy called strings, rather than zero-dimensional point particles. I like to ask this here. Hang on. Now, here's what I like to wonder though is Like, here, hang on. What do quantum entanglement and string theory have in common? Check this out. Quantum entanglement and string theory both aim to reconcile the rules of quantum mechanics with gravity, thus making gravity is pretty much your connection point. We are all connected and bound by gravity. All of us. Whether you're flying in a plane or not, it's still a form of gravity. And that's the thing about gravity, is it bounds us, it shapes us. Hell, without gravity, we would even look different. Very, very, very crazy. Could these quote-unquote UAPs even do what they do without gravity? And what about anti-gravity? Yeah, the anti-gravity tech. I can't wait to see that. I really can't. Supposedly, some scientists elsewhere, they already invented it. Hell, they've invented that a while ago. But the scientists that did invent it, of course they died. Anybody who invents anything amazing dies. And that's a lot of why these scientists also have gone missing as well, is because they know too much, right? Just like the guy that invented the hydrogen car. You know that story? Well, there is a man who actually invented a hydrogen car, a car that runs strictly on water. Well, story short, they pretty much killed him. I don't know how, they probably made it look like an accident. They killed him, took all of his stuff, and the rest is history. So, pretty weird, pretty crazy. Yeah, like me. What if they'd kill me because of this invention right here? This is something I invented a while ago. I'll show you. I don't mind showing off my inventions. It's called a electromagnet picker-upper, essentially, right? So, what is this here? Got a piece of metal right there. I don't know. I'd like to use a bigger example. Check this out. This is pretty cool. Tool time. Let's say I got that. Let's say I have that right there. Well, all I gotta do is flip my little switch, right? Pick that up. Now this also is a form of quantum entanglement because it needs everything to work. Like it needs the electricity, needs the metal to even like pick things up. Like if I don't have any metal, this thing is not gonna work. But it works great if I have metal. And electricity, of course. Turn it on. Turn it off. There's even a cute little on switch right there. Isn't that sweet? But yeah, our whole universe is pretty much shaped through quantum entanglement and string theory. Well, I hope this video has been educational. Hope it's been informative, and I hope you enjoyed it. You can watch this on Facebook or YouTube. Doesn't really matter. Well, good night, everybody.